So, Article 8 is about the teachers and learners. So, Article 8, Section 1 states that a teacher has a right and duty to determine the academic marks and the promotions of learners in the subject or grades he handles, provided that such determination shall be in accordance with generally accepted procedures of evaluation and measurement. In case of any complaint, the teachers concerned shall immediately take appropriate actions, observing due process. So for section 1, it explains that the teachers have both the right and responsibility to give grades and decide promotion of learning as long as they follow standard evaluation methods. So next is for the section 2, it states that a teacher shall recognize that the interest and welfare of learners are of first and foremost concern and shall deal justifiably and impartially with each of them. So, section 2, it states that learners' welfare comes first. The teacher must always prioritize the best interest of the learners. Every learner must be treated fairly, respectfully, and without bias, regardless of personal feelings or preferences. Then, Section 3 states that under no circumstance shall a teacher be prejudiced or discriminate against a learner. So, Section 3 means that no discrimination allowed. That's what Section 3 emphasizes. Then, for Section 4, it states that a teacher shall not accept favors or gifts from learners, their parents, or others in their behalf in exchange of requested concessions, especially if underserved. So for section 4, it um, explains that no gifts in exchange for favor. Teachers must not accept gifts, money, or any favor from students on their parents in return for special privilege or unfair concessions, especially if these benefits are not earned. Then, for section 5, a teacher shall not accept directly or indirectly any remuneration from tutorials other what is authorized for such service. So for section 5, it means that no unauthorized tutorial fees. Teachers should not receive payment for tutorials unless the school officially allows it. Next is the section 6. A teacher shall base the evaluation of the learner's work only in merit and quality of academic performance. So the grades must be based solely on the quality of a learner's academic performance, not on behavior, personal relationship, or external factors. Then, Section 7 states that in a situation where mutual attraction and subsequent love develop between teacher and learner, the teacher shall exercise utmost professional discretion to avoid scandal, gossip, and preferential treatment of the learner. So, if a romantic interest develops between a teacher and a learner, the teacher must use professional discretion to prevent scandals and avoid gossip. So it means that professional conduct in cases of mutual attraction. Be professional because you are a teacher. Then, for section 8, it states that a teacher shall not inflict corporal punishment on offending learners nor make deductions from their scholastic ratings as a punishment for acts which are clearly not manifestation of poor scholarship. So for section 8, and it means that the teachers must never hit or physically punish learners. They should also never lower a student's grade as a punishment for misbehavior if the misconduct is unrelated to academic performance. Then last, for the section 9, a teacher shall ensure that conditions contribute to the maximum development of learners are adequate and shall extend needed assistance in preventing or solving learners' problems and difficulties. It means that teachers must ensure that the classroom environment promotes maximum development of learners. It means that providing support for learners' growth. So, in short, Article 8 emphasizes that the teacher must maintain a professional, respectful, and caring relationship with learners at all times. Teachers must protect the physical, emotional, and moral well-being of students. They should avoid favoritism, discrimination, or any form of abuse or exploitation. This article reminds teachers to be fair, patient, and supportive, ensuring that learners are guided with integrity and treated with dignity, regardless of backgrounds or ability. So, to further understand what this Article 8 emphasizes, let me read a example scenario that shows what this article all about. So, for example, Miss Ramos notices that one of her students, Carlo, has been unusually quiet and performing poorly in class. Instead of publicly calling him out or embarrassing him, she privately talks to him after class. She listens patiently and learns that he is struggling with family problems. Ms. Ramos offers support, reassures him that he is not alone, and adjusts his learning task temporarily to help him cope. She also avoids showing favoritism and ensures Carlo is treated with the same respect as all other students. So, what it shows? What does the scenario shows? So first, it shows respect for learner dignity. Next is protection of emotional well-being. Third is fair and compassionate treatment. Lastly, professional boundaries and ethical conduct. So, that's it for the Article 8, and I hope that you learned what that article is all about. And let's move on with the um, next article, which is Article 9, the teachers and parents. So for Article 9, Section 1, it states that every teacher shall establish and maintain cordial relations with parents and shall conduct himself to merit their confidence and respect. So this means that the teacher must establish and maintain friendly, respectful, and professional relationship with parents. Their behavior should inspire parents' trust and confidence in the teacher. Next is section 2 states that every teacher shall inform parents through proper authorities of the progress and deficiencies of learner under him, exercising utmost candor and tact in pointing out the learner's deficiency and in seeking parents' cooperation for the proper guidance and improvement of the learners. So section 2 emphasizes that teacher must inform parents through proper school channels about their child's progress and areas of difficulty. Teachers must explain deficiencies truthfully yet tactfully and encourage parents to work with them for the learner's improvement. So for the last section, which is the section 3, states that a teacher shall hear parents' complaints with sympathy and understanding and shall discourage unfair criticism. So it means that the teachers must listen to parents' concern with patience, empathy, and understanding. They should address issues fairly while discouraging unreasonable or unfair criticism that may lead to conflict or misunderstanding. So, in short, the Article 9 highlights the importance of building strong and respectful partnership with parents or guardians. Teachers must keep parents informed about their child's progress and difficulties in an honest, objective manner. They should listen to parents' concerns, collaborate with them for the student's benefit, and avoid conflicts that may harm trust. Overall, this article stresses that education is a shared responsibility between teachers and families, requiring open communication, cooperation, and mutual respect. So to fully understand the Article 9, I want to read this scenario for you. So this Mr. Dizon notices that one of his learners, Maya, has been missing homework frequently. Instead of immediately blaming her or punishing her, he contacts her parents to schedule a meeting. During the meeting, he calmly and honestly explains Maya's academic situation. He listens to the parents' concern and learns that she has been caring for a sick sibling at home. Together, they agree on a plan to support Maya, lighter assignments, regular check-ins, and homeschool coordinations. So, in that given scenario, what it shows? So, it shows open and respectful communication, cooperation between teacher and parents, honest reporting of student performance, and lastly, shared responsibility for the learner's growth. So that's it for the Article 9, and I hope that you really understand what that article is all about. Thank you.